There's a reason for Jesus dying. He had an expectation of something. If I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. That was his expectation. That when he gives up his life, people will tap into that blood so that they can be saved. When you do something without an expectation of something happening from it, most times, nothing will. I want you to take this very, 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 very seriously. There's nothing in life that you do that you will get anything back if you don't have an expectation of it. Whatever you expect with confidence becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. That is what faith is all about. We are in church every day talking about faith. People don't understand that faith is all about expectation. Whatever you expect with confidence, that's why it says, "He who doubts will receive nothing from the Lord." Whatever you expect with confidence becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's a fact. If you believe and do not doubt, that's what Jesus says. Your expectation closes or opens doors of your supply. That's just the way it is. If you have an expectation, your doors of supply will open. If you don't have an expectation, your doors of supply will close. Too many of us go through life without having an expectation of ourselves. What is your expectation of your wife? What is your expectation of your husband? If you expect nothing from your husband, guaranteed nothing will come back to you. If you expect nothing from your children, surely nothing will come to you. I expect of my children an A+ every time. And they are responding in kind. It used to be that way. So Michael, I expect an A. Somehow, the universe rearranges itself. He himself rearranges himself for an A to come and tell my daughter, that's what I expect. If they don't get it, you know they are very close to it. Because I have an expectation. They know I have an expectation. They themselves have an expectation of themselves. When I was growing up, I didn't understand how important it is. After every holiday, when we take our report cards home, my dad sits down with me and tells me exactly how disappointed he is because this is not what he expected. If I don't make an A, which is not often. I was always first in my class. That's not boasting, it's a fact. But even in that my first, the man will look at one of the subjects and say, this one you're supposed to have an A. Why did you have a B? So I know his expectation, and that drives me. But when you go to school and bring your report home and nobody mentions anything about it, it kills your expectation. If nobody expects you to do well, why should you kill yourself to do well? The same thing about life. Most of us is as painful as it is. Whatever situation we have for ourselves right now is as a result of our expectation of ourselves. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. If we expect grand things and work honestly for them, they will come to you. Because your supply will always correspond with your expectation. I know that for a fact. When you look at things that you think that you should have, that you don't have, what is your expectation concerning that thing? You know, the problem most of us have is that we lower our expectation to meet our performance. We lower our expectations to meet our performance. When we should be raising our level of our performance to meet our expectation. Maybe it's a bit complicated. Some of us look at our performance, and that is all we expect. I'm saying do it in reverse. Raise your performance level to your expectation. In other words, expect the best of yourself and then do everything to make it a reality. This is not a philosophy class. Okay, so don't think that, okay, this man is talking, where I saw the Bible passages coming. Train you that way. That's how we do it here. Proverbs 23:7. And you will find that only the King James, for some reason, that verse that I needed, is only the King James version that you will find it. For some reason, the rest of the translations, but they are all Bible, so let's focus on that. Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You know, I love that phrase. If I were you, I would take that phrase. Is that the King James? Please, if you don't have King James, take this thing off. For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. I've used that phrase many times. If I were you, I would cut it out. I'll put it on the wall of my fridge. Whatever you are thinking, that is what you are going to become. Whatever dominates your thought on a daily basis, that is what you are going to become. When they say they are going to retrench and you are thinking, oh, maybe they will retrench, maybe they will retrench, you know what is going to happen? They're going to retrench you. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it happens. They wrote a very big book about it. I told you about that book, The Secret, that is making all those waves the last 3 years. It's all based on this principle, really. The only thing they did wrong is they took God out of it. But the principle remains the same. When you are thinking something constantly, somehow the universe rearranges itself to meet your expectation. That is faith. Faith is believing something, thinking about it constantly and acting on it. Not just thinking about it, but acting as if that thing is a reality. And somehow, the universe, because the universe is live. This air you're seeing, everything, this earth on the ground is alive. They have all been commanded by God to obey your thoughts, to obey your commandments. If you look at Genesis 1, that's what it says. Say, have dominion. Dominion, he said, and he did not say have dominion over another man. By the way, have dominion over everything that is alive, everything that he has created all over the world. So what happens is that whatever you think, this ground has to obey it. They are sensitive to your thoughts. They are sensitive to your thinking. And what you think and what you say is what they ultimately obey. I've shared a story with you about a woman in London who has done all sorts of tests, been married for 12, 13 years, no children. And then he listened to somebody use this verse. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Faith without works is dead. So he took his wife on the way home. With the husband and the wife, they listened to that sermon on their way home. They stopped at a Walmart or their equivalent in London. And they bought a baby doll. Baby doll. We have a baby. Every morning they name the baby. Every morning the wife will carry the baby and try to be feeding the baby. Put the baby on her back. It sounds like madness. But 1 year later, she had a baby. The world was compelled, even her womb was compelled to open. Because she had an expectation that I am not barren. I don't care what they are telling me. It don't matter what they are saying to me. I have an expectation that this stomach is going to be pregnant. But it goes beyond just saying it. Not only was she saying it, she began to believe it. She began to do some physical things to make her believe it. Because you can say all you want. The belief has to sensitize into your stomach, into your head, into your spirit. When it gets to the point where even you believe it. That's why some people statement become reality. Obama came out and said, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. It looks like a joke. Eventually, everybody started to believe, yes, we can. And yes, we did. The universe rises up to your level of expectation. If you don't like where you are, you need to raise your own expectation of yourself.